Hi again then folks, and welcome to, of course, day 3 of Special Projects Pack number 7. This time certainly a nostalgic build, a C4 Corvette Gran Sport based obviously on the ZR-1 that we have in the game already. I actually bought a second one of these so that I didn't have any parts that I didn't need and just had all the stuff to specifically build it into a Gran Sport. Now, of course, as always, I'll put a link down in the description to get the visual design. Of course, tons of people have done the Gran Sport livery or their own version of it. This is the best one I could see. It's a very, very nice representation of a Gran Sport. Certainly my favourite that I could see from the community, so give the creator some love if you do decide to use it. It's actually a really affordable build. This is one of the simplest. This is very much in the vein of stuff like the Viper ACR, those kind of replicas. Very easy to do. We've got sports pads. We've got stage 1 weight. So, of course, we will be adjusting the weight because, as you can see, it's heavier than that would look with stage 1. We've upgraded the tyres just a bit from Comfort Softs to Sports Hards. Just seemed a bit more appropriate for the car. For the Club Sports section, you want your Sports Clutch and Flywheel. I've gone for the Sports Discs, of course, with the pads, the Power Restrictor and the ballast as well. As far as the semi-racing stuff, we have the Limited Slip Diff and Height Adjustable Sports Suspension in particular. And for the racing stuff, there is nothing fitted this time around. For the Extreme section, likewise nothing, and for the Ultimate section, yet again, nothing. So, like I said, it's very simple. This is a super simple build, which means for those who are on a budget, well, it's a pretty easy one to do. Now, this is, of course, a downgrade from a ZR-1 in terms of power in particular. It's not quite the same horsepower as Gran Turismo 6 because we are using GT6 as the reference. The weight is spot on, 1496 kilos for that game, but the power I think was 336 in that game. And I didn't want to fit other tuning parts just for the sake of restricting it and getting it to right that exact amount. I know a replica should technically do that, but if building it to that spec means you're fitting all these things that you don't really need, I think it kind of defeats the point. So for the sake of an extra 2 horsepower, I don't think many people really care too much. So we've got the Sports Hard tyres on it, of course. For the suspension, we've got 110mm on the ride height. Might sound pretty high, but it should match visually quite nicely with what we had before. The anti-roll, of course, is non-adjustable with this suspension setup. 35 for the dampers, 45 for the rebound, 2.05 on the springs, 1 degree of camber, and the rear toe is not adjustable, but it's already set to toe 20 in, which is pretty good anyway for stability. As far as the diff, I've got for 10, or gone for 10, 30, and 20. I personally really like that setup for this one, so give it a try, see what you think. As far as the power restrictor, you want it down to 90%, so quite a lot less power than the ZR-1, of course. 97 kilos of ballast. I've opted to leave that right in the middle. No change there. And then as far as the rest, well, as I said, it's pretty simple. So you can already see the stuff we fitted. Nothing new, nothing special there. And even the point level, around 540, it's pretty modest. So all that remains, naturally, is to jump out to the track and see what it can do. Now, with a car like this, I think, and in a similar way, the Viper ACR and a couple of others that I've done, which are replicas, there's even another one coming in this same pack for the BMW M3 CSL. They're builds which I think some people could find maybe boring because it doesn't change the car that much compared to what you might expect. They're certainly not the kind of 1,000 horsepower builds that you see most people doing on YouTube or stuff like that. But that's of course not the point. It's not designed to feel like a Gran Sport with tuning, it's designed to feel like a Gran Sport that you buy in Gran Turismo 4, 5, 6 and then just drive it stock. So that's what we're going for. In terms of handling, I mean, even then it could seem boring because it's a totally undramatic car. There is no drama with this car at all. The fact that it has less horsepower than a ZR-1, even more so. This car takes everything in its stride. Super forgiving to drive, tons of grip, super beginner friendly. It's just a really nice car to work with. So if you do by any chance need a road class vehicle on sports tyres at the sub 550 point level, it might actually be worth a look. And of course, if you wanted to swap out a couple of small things or maybe drop the ballast a bit to get it to nestle right up to 550 and negate the replica side of things, well, then you could do that as well. But either way, if you choose to use it as a member berry or as an actual vehicle to race with, there's definitely a lot of potential there and it's a lot of fun to drive. There's a lot of charm to a simple build like this sometimes, and I like to pepper them in with the more extreme stuff. So if you do decide to use it, I hope you have a ton of fun, of course, and give the creator of the design some love from me. And naturally, stick around for the rest of the week, as well as checking out the builds that I already did here in Special Projects Pack number 7. But I'll see you next time, and for now, as always, thanks for watching.